Okay, let's dive right in. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're unpacking humanity's absolute oldest blockbuster epic, Tablet 4 of the ENUMA ELISH. Seriously, if you're looking for a story with a completely covered summary featuring high visual and cinematic quality, crazy visual stakes, and epic cosmic warfare, well, you are in the exact right place. We're looking directly at the ancient text today, and we're going to break down the precise, visceral moments where the universe as we know it was violently forged. So let's get right into it. We're dropping it right into the cinematic stakes with this incredibly explosive command given to the god Marduk. March forth and sever the life of Tiamat. I mean, wow. This isn't just a battle cry, right? It's the inciting incident that sets the stage for a massive, universe-shaking clash between cosmic order and absolute, rampaging chaos. The forebear gods are terrified, and they're basically putting all their chips on Marduk to execute this monumental assassination. So, that brings us to Section 1, the anointing of a king. But before the ultimate battle can actually begin, the forebear gods gather in their newly constructed royal palace to officially elevate Marduk. They declare his life magnificent, making his proclamations undeniable law. In their eyes, his word is now totally equal to the great god Anu himself. He holds the ultimate power to raise up and compel down. And to prove this authority, they devise a miracle test. They place a single constellation in the sky. By merely speaking, Marduk commands it to vanish entirely. Poof. Gone. Then, with just another spoken word, he commands it to reappear. When the gods witness this absolute dominion over reality through speech alone, they just erupt in jubilation. They cheer, "Marduk is king," and hand over the scepter, the throne, and the staff of rule. Moving right along to Section 2, Forging the Divine Arsenal. What's really fascinating here is how this ancient text reads exactly like an epic movie arming montage. The gods told him to march forth, but Marduk knows he needs the right gear for a cosmic showdown. He gathers an elemental arsenal that is just incredibly visceral. Just picture this visually for a second. He fashions a bow and arrows, gripping a mighty mace in his rigid right hand. But he definitely doesn't stop at physical weapons. Oh no. He harnesses actual lightning before him, with eternal flame burning inside him. He crafts an ensnaring net specifically to trap his enemy, and completely masters the four winds, south, north, east, and west, along with tornadoes and hurricanes. He's making absolutely sure his target has zero chance of escape. And the visual imagery gets even more intense. He mounts this awesome, fear-rearing storm chariot, and guys, this isn't pulled by normal animals, it's harnessed to a quartet of horses with absolutely brutal names: Killer, Merciless, Fleet, and Highflyer. The text actually notes their jaws were lowered, their teeth were filled with venom, and they knew nothing of giving up. Plus, flanking him are literal forces named Blitzkrieg, Clasher, and Total Extermination. Throw in some blazing armor and a blinding halo, and the cinematic quality of this preparation is just staggering. Which sets us up for Section 3, the Clash of the Gods. So the standoff begins. Marduk travels the roadway heading directly for the rampaging chaos monster, Tiamat. As he approaches, he's holding an antitoxin herb to his lips and keeps a protective spell on his tongue. He locks eyes on Tiamat and her chosen general, Kingu. Almost immediately, just by looking at Marduk's terrifying display, Kingu becomes completely bewildered. His fortitude just falls to pieces. It's an intense juxtaposition here. You've got Marduk representing calculated physical might, holding up his fearsome flood weapon and demanding one-on-one combat to avenge the forebear gods. On the flip side, Tiamat is waging raging psychological warfare. The text tells us she doesn't even avert her gaze. Instead, her mouth is filled with magic, spells, lies, and deception, feigning kindness right before her true, unstoppable rage boils over. All right, Section 4, the Fall of Tiamat. When Marduk calls out her hypocrisy and challenges her directly, Tiamat goes completely ballistic. I mean, she flies into this wild, unstoppable rage, bawling at the top of her lungs so hard that her viscera trembles down to her very foundation. She's screaming spells while the warriors hone their blades, and this leads right into a brutal, step-by-step, fatal blow, an ancient combo attack that is flawlessly executed. First, Marduk unleashes his net, casting it out to entrap her. Second, as she opens her mouth to swallow the wind, he sends a tear gust right into her face to force her jaws open. Third, the raging winds rush in and violently bloat her belly. Fourth, now that she's totally incapacitated, he releases an arrow that strikes her distended middle, literally cleaving her in two. And finally, he cuts open her heart, instantly bringing her hateful life to a close.
The immediate aftermath paints a striking image. Marduk stands victorious, tossing her body into the dirt and planting his feet right on her corpse. With their war leader completely destroyed, Tiamat's rebel gods and her demonic army are just struck with sheer terror. They try to scatter and flee, but Marduk is way ahead of them. He's already encircled them. They're trapped within his massive net, their weapons are destroyed, and the demons are bound with nose leashes. Total domination.
But there's one final piece of business on this battlefield. Marduk turns to Kingu, the bewildered general. Marduk absolutely ruins him, adding him to the tally of the defeated. But more importantly, he strips Kingu of the ultimate prize, the Tablet of Fate. The text is quick to note Kingu did not deserve it, so Marduk seizes it, presses his own seal right onto it, and clasps it tightly to his chest. This move establishes unquestionable absolute dominance over the entire cosmic order. Which finally brings us to our last section, creating the ancient cosmos. After sparing the enslaved rebel gods, provoking a massive song of victory, and taking a quick moment to rest, Marduk looks over Tiamat's corpse. Then he begins the architectural genesis of the universe using literally the most gruesome building materials imaginable. He physically deconstructs the monster to build the world. He raises his merciless hammer and pulverizes Tiamat's skull. Then he slices open her arteries, commanding the north wind to carry her watery blood away as good tidings to his jubilant forebears who are already prepping greeting gifts for him. Finally, he splits her cadaver, flaying her in half like a drying fish to make marvelous things. The anatomy of this newly created cosmos is incredibly literal. Splitting her corpse in two, he takes the top half and thrusts it upward to create the vaults of the heavens. He then takes her chaotic waters and bounds them strictly with a gate, putting them under the care of a guardian so they might never ever surge free again. So cosmic order is literally constructed by suppressing and repurposing the physical remnants of chaos. It's a wild concept. With the sky firmly in place, Marduk traverses it seeking a holy place. He measures out the total dimensions of the deep Apsu, making it entirely smooth. And from those exact measurements, he establishes a massive, immense shrine called Ishara. The text actually tells us he built the great temple Ishara to act as a direct mirror, perfectly resembling heaven itself. Finally, within this highly structured cosmos, a cosmos built entirely from the literal bones and bound waters of chaos, remember, he sets up the centers of veneration. Inside the temple Ashara, he pleases specific domains for the high gods Anu, Elul, and Ea. The wild, unpredictable universe has officially been replaced by measurement, boundaries, temples, and strict hierarchy. The victory is complete. I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Just look at the sheer violence required to build the sky and the earth in this ancient text. If early humanity honestly believed that cosmic order, measurement, and society could only be established from the literal pulverized ruins of absolute chaos, well, what does that say about human nature? It really forces us to think deeply about how our ancestors view the violently unpredictable forces of nature around them and the incredibly heavy cost they believed was required to build the solid world beneath our feet. Keep that in mind as you process everything we've uncovered in this explainer today. Thanks for joining me.